Okay, so this problem is called Line Them Up. The link is open.kattis.com/problem/lineup. The link is also in the description. So here it is. An eccentric coach asks players on the team to line up alphabetically at the start of practice. The coach does not tell the players whether they need to line up in increasing or decreasing order, so they guess. If they guess wrong, the coach makes them run laps before practice. Given a list of names, you are to determine if the list is increasing alphabetical order, decreasing alphabetical order, or neither. The input consists of a single test case. The first line will contain the number n of people on the team, between 2 and 20. Following that are n lines, each containing the name of one person. A name will be at least 2 characters and at most 12 characters in length, and will consist only of capital letters. And with no white spaces. So sorry, Billy Bob and Mary Jo. Duplicates will also not be allowed on the team. And then we output a single word, increasing, if the list is in increasing alphabetical order, decreasing if it is in decreasing alphabetical order, and otherwise neither. Okay, so let's get going here. I'm actually going to open up the whiteboard. Look at one of these examples. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this problem is to start out by saying that this list is not increasing and it is not decreasing. And then I'm going to go through this list and change up my answer here. So if I end up going through this entire list and I end up having that it is not increasing but it is decreasing, then I'm going to say decreasing. If I end up saying that it is not increasing, that it is increasing, but it's not decreasing, then I'm obviously going to say that it is increasing. The way we determine if it is neither is if we end up saying that it is both. And that means we've encountered an example of where the list was increasing and an example of where the list is decreasing. So kind of sounds weird, but we're saying that it is, if we have both of these examples, then the list isn't completely increasing nor completely decreasing, meaning it's neither increasing or decreasing, at least entirely. So a better way to say this maybe is that it increased at one point and it decreased at one point. So let's just run through this one here. And I only need the first few for this. So if I go through H to A, I can see that that is decreasing. So I get rid of this. But when I go to A through B, I see that that is increasing. So I get rid of this. So now I clearly already know I have 2 examples. I don't even need to look at the rest of this list here. It is both increasing and decreasing. And that means that if there are 2 examples of an increasing order and a decreasing order, then I know that it is neither completely increasing nor completely decreasing. So in the end, I'm going to print out neither. So let's just see how that would look like in code. Okay, so I'm going to make something called lineup.py. And let's just get started here. So we want to read in this first number, n. Int input. Now, in order to be able to compare one person and the next person, I want to have some notion of here is the previous person and here is the next person or current person. So at the beginning, I want to be able to keep track of Hope and then move on to Allie and then move these arrows kind of along here. So I go, then I move on to Hope and Allie and Becky, and I move on to Julie and Becky, and just kind of moving these arrows down so I can compare them, or at least the 2 at a time. So what I'm going to do, before I even loop through all of these, is I'm going to keep track of Hope. Okay. So I'm going to say, so previous person is going to be equal to input. So right now, at least for this example, that is hope. And then we also want this sort of thing where we have it is not decreasing and it is not increasing. So I'm going to have this variable called increasing set to false, and decreasing also set to false. So now we want to go through the rest of these people. We knew that there are n people total, but we've already read in the first person, so we only want to go through n minus 1 people, at least in terms of reading them in for input. So for I in range n minus 1, we're going to get our current person. So that's Ali. And then this will be changing along just like I showed you with those arrows. So here's the check. So in Python, the way you can check for alphabetical order is you can literally compare strings with less than or greater than signs. So if this current person is less than the previous person, then we know, we know that it must be decreasing because the next person was less than the person before him. So decreasing is true. And if the current person is greater than the previous person, then increasing must be true. After that, this is our little process of elimination that we did over there. We want to move along those arrows just like I showed here. We want to make this current person go to this next person. Oh, and we want to make this previous person go to this previous person is equal to the current person. So what that equates to is moving this arrow down here and pointing it to the current person. So now the current person or the previous person is both the previous person and the current person are both Ali. When we go back around this loop, we call current person is equal to input. So that means this arrow is the next line of input. So now we have current person is going to be Becky and previous person is going to be Ali. And it'll keep doing that. So as we do these tests, and then previous person is equal to current person, move this arrow down, and then we go back around this loop, and then current person is the next line of input. Go down here, and then it'll keep doing that for the rest of this input. Kind of like that, and so on. Okay, so all we have to do now is look at the answer that we've determined after going through each person and comparing them. We want to ask if it was increasing and decreasing. That means there was an instance of an increasing order and an instance of a decreasing order. So for this example, there was. And in that case, we want to print neither. Else if, in Python, that's elif. Else if it is increasing, then we want to print increasing. So we know that if it was increasing, then this entire thing was false only because this thing was false. Because if this was increasing, then it was true here as well. But this is what made this entire statement false, because these both have to be true for this statement to be true. And then if increasing is not true, then we know that increasing was false and decreasing was true. So decreasing. Okay. All right. So I think that looks good to me. Let's run that. Copy all of our examples here. So whatever this is, Joe, Bob, Andy, nice, Al, Adam. By the way, the way I'm copying and pasting it here, at least for my computer, um, I'm just pressing Control Shift V, one after the other, and then keeping your fingers on all of those. So Control, Shift, hold Shift, and then press V. And then it automatically runs and says decreasing, just like we expected. Another way you don't have to do that, you can also just run the program and then right click it, type paste. And it says neither. And then copy that and increasing. So perfect. Follows those test cases quite nicely. Submit. Yeah, I messed up the recording a few times. All right, cool. It's accepted. I hope that made sense. I hope this whiteboard was helpful this time. If it didn't, I recommend either trying to think of the problem yourself, look at the code again, or even try to come up with a solution that makes more sense to you. Sometimes that even helps with understanding the solution that another person did if you have your own intuition about the problem. But yeah, um, that's it for today. Happy New Year. Hope the New Year's treating you all right. And have fun in programming team, I guess.